Good morning. It is 10 o'clock, and welcome to Lincoln Ware Live. We're here every Sunday morning from 10 until 11. And as usual, we've got a great lineup for you today. To kick things off, we've got Joe Nickel, who is the athletic director for North College Hill Schools. And they're going to implement a drug testing program this coming fall. They received a $42,000 grant, $42,000+ grant. And they're going to implement this drug testing program for the athletes and cheerleaders. And man, that's going to be huge, because I don't think any other schools in this area, maybe one, Blanchester, has a drug testing program for their athletes. And welcome to the show, Joe.
Thank you.
Now, tell us, how is this going to take place? I mean, is it voluntarily or is it random? What's going to happen?
Well, the program will be random. What happens, the students have to volunteer to be in it, but they can't participate in athletics unless they do volunteer. Their parents have to sign a permission form for them to be in it. And then what will happen, weekly we will test 20%. They will be selected randomly. We have a computer will do that, and we have no idea from week to week who will be selected.
So it's like, if you want to play, then you have to go through the drug testing program. So I don't know how voluntarily that could be.
Well,
you know?
It's, sports are extracurriculars are a volunteer thing for you. Right. I mean, you've got other things. You got to have the physical. You got to have the grade point average. You got to have the insurance papers. So this is just another thing that's added on to it.
And they might as well get used to it now, because if they continue on in athletics, it's going to happen to them on the college level and in the professional level. So they might as well get used to it.
Right.
Now, what do the parents? How are the parents involved in this? Do they have to sign a waiver saying, yes, test my son or daughter, or how does that work?
Yes, the parents have to sign, since the student athletes aren't 18, the parents will have to sign a form that gives us permission to do the testing. And everything is kept confidential. If the student tests positive, the first contact will be made with the parents. And information concerning what happens in testing will not be released to the public. Nobody will ever know except, of course, the school administration, the students' family, and a student athlete.
Well, what happens if a student fails the drug test? What happens to that athlete?
Okay, they will not be punished as far as going to school. The federal government requires that you do not take any action concerning the academic day, because going to school, that is a right that a student is entitled to. What we have set up is a plan. If you test positive, then you have to get assessed, because we have to make sure that you're not addicted to the drug, because that could impact what happens with you on an athletic field. Once you do that, you'll be able to continue on with your athletic career. Now, we do have a program we're setting up in a school that will require the student athlete, if they test positive, to go to. It involves myself, and I'm also a certified counselor, and Jamie Mahaffey, who's our basketball coach, and we will work with them to try to keep them from using drugs in the future. Okay.
Now, we'll take a quick break and come back, and I want to hear from you. How do you feel about this drug testing program? Do you think it's good or bad? Do you think they should implement this in the Cincinnati public schools? Let us know. Let us hear from you. 381-3838. Back in a moment. We are back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. And this morning, my guest, Joe Nickel, the athletic director for North College Hill Schools. And they're going to implement this new drug testing program. And want to get your input. The phone number, 381-3838. 651-3838 is a good idea, bad idea. Should they implement this throughout Southwest Ohio, Cincinnati public schools, Sycamore schools, Princeton schools? What do you think? Is North College Hill on the threshold, the forefront of what's going to happen throughout the area? Who knows? Is it a good idea? What about steroids? I mean, are you going to test for steroids?
Yes, the steroid testing is, and I don't understand all this, but the steroid test is a separate test, but we have included that in the package. Okay. And we're going to test 20% of our student athletes a week, and in there, a small percentage of that will be for steroids, but that's a separate test in itself.
Now, what about the cheerleaders?
Cheerleaders at our school are part of the athletic department, so as a result, anything that's part of the athletic department will be included. So cheerleaders will be included.
Okay, all right. Let's go to the telephones, 381-3838, 651-3838. That's the number if you want to talk. If you've got questions about this drug testing program, the parents will have to agree to have their children tested. But if they don't, then the kids can't play football, basketball, baseball, run track, or be on the cheerleading squad. So it's either parents, you go along with it, or your kid just can go to school every day and not participate in athletics. How do you feel about that? Marquetta, how you doing today?
It's Marquita. How you doing?
Oh, Marquita, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm a parent as well, but my kids ain't old enough to play sports yet. But just to make them take a drug test to play sports, they're not getting paid for that. It's a volunteer thing. I don't think they should have to take a drug test for that. And most kids will just switch schools if they're interested at Oak Hills.
Well, I mean, would they just switch school? I mean, how about just stop smoking marijuana, stop using steroids if you're doing it, if you want to play sports? But I agree with you. They're not being paid, so why should they have to undergo the same types of testing as professional athletes? You make a good point there. Neither are college players. They're not being paid either, but they have to undergo some type of drug testing also.
I understand that. College students should.
Well, what's the difference between the college students and the high school students?
They're, college students are adults. They have the choice.
Yeah. Well, you make a point. They are
minors,
18. Yeah.
Right. Minors, now I see if a parent said yes, their kid should be able to take a drug test, but I think that's an invasion of privacy.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your call. Now, you may hear that from some people if you haven't already.
Well, we expect to hear that. One of the reasons that we're doing the testing, which has to be considered, is that we want to protect the student athletes. A student athlete, and you know this is going to happen, a student athlete comes to a contest or practice under the influence of drugs, they themselves could get hurt, or somebody else could get hurt on the field. And when the Supreme Court made a decision to allow this, that was one of their considerations, was the safety of the young people on the field.
All right, let's go back to the telephones. Let's go to Terry. Terry, good morning. You're on Lincoln Ware Live. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good.
I think it's a great idea. That way you can keep parents informed on how they feel. I mean, as far as knowing what their kids do. I have 2 kids in high school, and I would want to know if my kids are doing drugs.
Yeah. And I think a lot of parents probably would want to know and probably welcome a program like this.
Yeah, I think it would be great, and I wish Cincinnati Public Schools would get it.
All right, thanks for your call.
Thank you.
All right. Now, how difficult was it to get this grant for $42,000? This is going to cover the entire program. It's not going to come out, the taxpayers of North College Hill are not going to have to shell out any money or anything like that.
No, people in North College Hill do not have to pay for this. There's an application process you go through, and it's quite extensive. It did take some time. We submitted the application, and we were selected.
Let's go to Lakeisha. Lakeisha, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Lincoln.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. You have a question?
I have a comment. I think that this is wonderful. I think that most schools should adopt this, and I absolutely think it's wonderful because there are a lot of parents who need to be held accountable for the children.
You're right. A lot of parents may even know their kids are using drugs and just look the other way.
Exactly.
This way, they got to be held accountable if they want to participate in sports at North College Hill.
Exactly. And the children also need to be held accountable.
All right. Hey, thanks for your call.
Have a great day.
Now, the reasons that you applied for this grant, is it that there was a problem with, drug usage in the athletic department at North College Hill?
We're a high school. We got teenagers. Yeah. Teenagers experiment, so we know, like every high school in the country, there's an issue with drugs. And if you go back to when I was in school, we didn't deal with the drug issue. It was primarily alcohol, and alcohol is pretty easily to know whether students are under the influence or not. But in today's time with the drugs and the different types of drugs, we felt that we just needed to take a step. We did do some surveys at school, and we showed pretty much we're just like the rest of the country. There are some drug issues there. We can't say for sure whether with our student athletes or not, but at least we're taking this step. Because one thing it does do for the student athlete it helps them out with peer pressure, because as a teenager, one of the reasons you do things is peer pressure. Well, now you've got something you can say, hey, I can't do this, because if I do, I may lose my position on a football team or soccer team or volleyball team, whatever.
And North College Hill has been, in the news a lot as far as sports. You guys have, with the O.J. Mayos, and you guys came back, and did you take the state this past? You went all the way or something like that.
That was a year ago.
A year ago, yeah.
Not last year. Yeah.
Right. So you guys have been in the news a lot. And I think when other districts look at this program, they're going to try to get in on those grants and do the same thing. Let's go to Daniel. Daniel, good morning. You're on Lincoln Ware Live. How are you?
All right.
You have a question? Turn your TV down.
Yeah, Lincoln. The only thing I wanted to say was I had a comment to saying that one lady called in talking about drugs up in the high schools and in the schools, and saying it to the coach. I think they need that, because we have kids around here smoking that stuff, all kinds of drugs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Want to play football, high school, supposed to do anything. I think we should go on a drug treatment, and the parents don't want to go along with it. They just don't have to. They students, go ahead and play basketball, football, or any kind of activity in the school.
Right.
And I agree with that very, very, very much.
Okay, thanks for your call. Appreciate it. And you're right. And these kids, drugs, it's easily, probably kids are selling it at school. They're getting it on the way to school. And if these guys are going to participate in athletics, they need to be clean. And so every week they're going to take 20% they're going to just pick you randomly. 20%
correct.
of the, now what if the sport is not in season? Will you still be randomly tested?
You're still in the pool. You could be selected. So once your parents have signed you up, let's say you're a football player and you're signed up, then you could be selected later on in the year, even though football season is over.
Okay.
But at North College Hill, because we're so small, a lot of our athletes play more than one sport. So I would say probably 70% of our athletes are involved in more than one sport.
Yeah.
So that's not as big an issue. It might be at a larger school.
Okay, yes, because I guess these players, they think, well, football season is over, I can start smoking some dope. So, but they might call you in the spring if you're a football player.
Right.
Okay, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and take more of your calls. I want to get your comments on this grant that North College Hill School received for drug testing throughout the year for athletes and cheerleaders. We'll come right back after these messages. We're back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. Joe Nickel is my guest. He is the athletic director for North College Hill Schools, and they received a $42,000 grant for drug testing of their athletes throughout the year, and it's a random drug testing. Parents have to give their permission to have their children tested, and it'll be confidential. You're not going to go over the PA system and say, guess what, player so-and-so failed a drug test today and he won't be playing, or whatever. It won't be like that at all.
No, it will not. Although, the students will talk.
Right, yeah.
So they will find out, because the students will talk.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the issue you have in high school.
Man, I failed a drug test.
Until
one person, and then it spreads like wildfire throughout the school. All right, let's go back to the telephones. Our phone number, 381-3838, 381-3838, or you can call us at 651-3838 if you've got comments, if you've got questions, you think it's a good idea, a bad idea. The one good idea I like about this is the steroids, because there's an increasing use of steroids among our young athletes. They think, they can get the edge. Everybody wants to get the edge. Everybody wants to get that scholarship. So that's one part of this program I really like, the steroid part, because that's very important. A lot of kids are into that nowadays. Mary, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good.
You look good. You done bounced back.
Oh, boy. I bounced back from a hard weekend of partying last week, huh?
You're quick. You like the cat. I think this is a personal thing, and it stay with them when they get those records, too. they don't take it off or nothing.
Yeah.
So I think it should be up to the parents, and I think if they can do all that and get by with it, I don't see where the school got anything to do with it. It should be up to the parents and the children.
Well, the parents, the parents are not going to drug test. You have some parents who will buy the drug testing kits and do that, but for the most part, the parents are not going to, drug test their kids on their own.
They will drug test them, but if your child is doing things against their health, you take them and get help.
Well, they don't necessarily
like if
know.
They're sick.
A lot of parents won't necessarily know that their kids are doing that.
Well, how will the school know? By the testing?
Yes.
Yeah, but it stay with them. They keep those things on their records for life and won't never get nothing done. You take care of it.
Oh, boy. All right, Mary. Thanks for your call. 381-3838, 651-3838 if you've got comments on the drug testing at North College Hill schools. Let's see, it's 79% African American. What are the percentages there?
It would be 29%. Well, we have a few
Hispanics, maybe?
Few Hispanics. I don't know whether we're up to a percent.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Jay. Jay, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm a grandmother with a grandson in high school, and I agree with this drug testing because I look at it this way. With the other two parents that said no, I think you should do this because I think it would also cut down on a lot of violence problem. I think if a child is not doing drugs, they will think twice about an argument or an incident that goes on. I would rather see that than to go to Hall Jordan or to go to Walker's Funeral Home. And I really think they have had enough business right now on our young adults.
Yeah, that's true.
And I support this 100%, and I do hope that the Cincinnati Public Schools can get this done because I would rather do this than to not have it, and I do not believe it will stay on their record. But if these kids are going to be responsible, you're going to have to learn now. You can't learn when you get 18 years old. It's too late.
There you go. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Jay pretty much backing this. Now, like you said, what will happen? Explain that again. If they fail the drug test, you call them in, and what takes place? Do they get kicked off the team? Will they have a chance to, will they get a second chance? How does that work again?
Yeah, they'll get a second chance. They're not going to be removed from the team on the first positive test. They will be called in. The parents will be called in. We'll meet with them. The parents have to get an assessment, which means they have to have the student check to see if they're addicted to the drug or drugs, whatever it may be, and then follow whatever course is there. We have a program. Now, if they continue to test positive as the school year goes on, then they will be eventually removed from the team. They could lose the right to be on any athletic teams and eventually could lose the right to play sports at North College Hill.
Now, tell me this. If you fail, say, for instance, the first day you give the test, an athlete fails the test, then will he be required to take it, or will he just go back into the random pool, or will there be some kind of special requirements for that player?
Well, he'll be back in the random pool, so he could be pulled at any time, but we also have the opportunity to test him at a later date. Okay. And it might be a month, 2 months later, we could pull his name. Okay. That could happen. Right. And in the paper that the parents are signing, it states that, and once we meet with them, correct, that we would be doing that. As far as the records go, I think that's an important issue. The records will not go anywhere. It's going to be a very few people that see those records, which would be including the parents and basically parents and school administration. Okay. Right now,
what about if they have a potential of getting a scholarship, will the colleges see that?
Colleges cannot get to the discipline files of student athletes. Colleges try, employers try, but unless a student has been expelled from school, and this would not lead to an expulsion, they cannot see those records.
All right, let's go to Mimi. Mimi, good morning. You're on Lincoln Ware Live. How are you, Mimi?
I'm fine. Good morning. What I want to say is, what about the kids who come from a home, say the parents are strung out on marijuana, where they're doing marijuana in the home, but the children are the type that say, no, I don't want to be involved. I'm going to school, get my education, play my sports, go to college, breaking the cycle. I don't want to be like you. So I'll hang up. I just want to know, how does that play in a drug test?
Well, were you saying maybe inhaling secondhand smoke or something?
Exactly. And then you've got these kids that are saying, no, I don't want to be like my parents. I'm here to get an education.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I can do to better myself. Why am I being penalized for what my parents do? There's nothing I can do about that. I'll hang up and let you guys talk about it. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thanks for your call.
Unfortunately, what she's saying is a true happening, and it's something we have to deal with. I think the testing would be specific enough that that you're going to have to use the drug yourself.
Yeah, the levels will be pretty low from secondhand smoke to show up on the drug test.
And we do unfortunately have students that live in a house where the drugs are prevalent and they're given to the student uses. That's why we have the program we're putting in place in school to help them deal with those issues if they test positive.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Mike. Mike, good morning. You're on Lincoln Ware Live. How are you?
How you doing, Mr. Ware?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yes, I was calling to see, okay, what if the guy tries the drug this the first time and he's not messing with it anymore? Would that mess up his life if he don't try again?
Well,
no, I mean, he said if you fail the first time, they'll bring you in, talk to you, and it's not going to necessarily, they're not going to kick you off the team, but you'll be watched a little more closely if you are dirty the first time.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thanks for your call. Let's go to Queen. Queen, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Pretty good.
Look, I think this is a great idea because you know how the kids are doing, a lot of them doing the drugs and everything, and it's athletic. I think it should be for the whole school. You know, random tests.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure the administrators probably would like for it to be for the whole school, but I think you get into some constitutional rights and things like that when you go with the whole school. With athletics, it's something that you volunteer to participate in. It's extracurricular, and then they can have more control over that.
Well, it's good that they will give them a second chance.
All right.
To come off of it.
Hey, Queen, thanks for your call.
You have a great day. Yes.
Thanks for your call. Queen says, test the whole school. Let's go to C. C, how are you?
Good morning to you and your guests.
Morning.
I'm calling about the secondhand smoke. A couple calls have already called, and I've already said what I wanted to say. And I want to say that it's a known fact that marijuana stays in your system up to 6 months to a year. And within that time, someone could have been around secondhand smoke and may have got a contact or something like that, and then you penalize them for it. And, I mean, they're not even doing it.
I just don't. You would just almost have to be locked in a room, and with 5 people, and 4 people would have to be firing up joints, and you have to stay in that room half the night, I believe, before it would really have that much of an effect on a drug test. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a tester. Maybe someone who's watching could call in and say, but I just have a hard time believing secondhand smoke would show up that much on a drug test.
I think that it will because of the fact that cigarettes is secondhand smoke.
Yeah, and it can cause
yes.
Problems down, after long periods of inhaling secondhand smoke. I don't know, Joe, what do you think? Thanks for your call.
I think based on what, when we talk to the people that are going to be testing, they said it, for a positive test, there has to be a certain level. So that allows me to believe that if they're around and they're taking in secondary smoke,
there will
it's
be
not
a level,
going,
but it wouldn't reach the levels
right, it's not going to reach that
you
level.
failed the test. Yeah. All right. The phone number 381-3838, 381-3838, 651-3838. If you want to jump on board, we're talking to Joe Nickel. He's the athletic director for North College Hill Schools, and they've just received a $42,210 grant, and to initiate a drug testing program for their athletic department. It'll be athletes and cheerleaders. Even the cheerleaders will undergo drug testing. Their names will be in this pool. They'll be called out of class, and they'll be asked to submit to drug tests also.
They are part of our athletic department. They have to have physicals. They have to have the grade point averages, just like the other student athletes.
Yeah.
So, and actually, my daughters were cheerleaders, and if you told them that they weren't athletes, they'd be awful upset at you. So they consider themselves athletes, and so they're right there with it.
All right, someone called in with a question. I think we answered it earlier, but we'll answer it again right after this break. The question is, what happens if a parent declines a test for their son or daughter? Are they no longer eligible to play that sport? We answered it earlier, but we'll answer it again when we come back with these messages right here on It's 38, Lincoln Ware Live. We'll take a quick break, come back and answer that question and a couple of more right here on Lincoln Ware Live. We are back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. I'm just going to wrap things up here with Joe Nickel. We had a question before the break. What would happen if a parent declines a test for their son or daughter? Are they no longer eligible to play that sport? I think we answered it earlier, but Joe, answer that question in case that caller was not listening in when you answered that earlier.
Yes, we must have parent permission to test the students. If they do not give us permission, then their son or daughter will not be able to play in the sport. The Supreme Court has ruled that we can do that because we already do it with, we require a physical. If you don't get the physical, you can't play. We require your grade point average to be at a certain place. If it's not there, you can't play. We require that you have insurance. If you don't have that, you can't play. And so this is just another one of the steps to protect a student athlete.
So if your parents say, I'm not going to let you drug test Antoine, then Antoine will not be on the North College Hill football or basketball or track team.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Well, Joe, it's been a delight having you here, and I'm pretty sure it looks like everybody's in favor of it. It looks like most people are in favor of this drug testing policy, and I wouldn't be surprised if you heard something like this happen in the Cincinnati Public School District, which is the largest district in this area, and I can almost guarantee you they're probably going to look into this, and they'll be watching you guys very closely to see how this thing turns out.
That's fine. We'd love to see it, and anything to help protect the young athletes that are on the field. That's what this is about, and that's what we want to do.
All right. Thank you for joining me this morning. All right. Now we're going to take a break and come back, and I've got a question to throw out to you. There's a Hispanic guy who was in the country illegally. He robbed and assaulted some people at a store, held them at gunpoint, even used them as human shields to get away with it. He was shot and paralyzed from the chest down. It's already cost $200,000 to put a deputy to guard him in a nursing home. They finally sent him home. But now his lawyer says we should just deport this guy, send him back to Mexico. It's going to cost the taxpayers something like $500,000 a year to keep this guy in jail. What would you do? Armed robbery, assault. This guy is a bad hombre. Would you keep him in jail to punish him or just send him back to Mexico to save the taxpayers' dollars? How do you feel about that? This is right here in Hamilton County, and we're already strapped for cash in this county, and we're spending thousands of dollars on this guy. He does not even belong in the United States. Does not even belong here. Illegal immigrant, came across the border illegally, committed a crime, and now we're paying because he's paralyzed from the waist down. We've got to pay for his care and to keep him in jail. Should we deport him and just say, let's call it quits? Or the people who were robbed and beat by this guy, should they get justice by keeping him here in jail? I want to get your comments on that. We'll take a quick break. Once again, thanks to Joe Nickel from North College Hill for joining us this morning. We'll be back, and I want to hear from you at 381-3838, 651-3838. How do you feel about this case? Back in a moment. We're back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. And before the break, I was telling you about this story that appeared in the Inquirer today. The sheriff department has already said that it costs $200,000 to have a deputy guard this guy in the nursing home. $200,000. And already the county's asking departments to cut back 6% of their budget. And we've got all this. And this guy who doesn't even belong here in the United States, he comes across the border illegally, and then instead of just coming across illegally, getting a job and minding his own business, he comes over here and robs and assaults people and uses people as human shields and the whole bit. And somehow he was shot, paralyzed from the chest down, should he go to jail? Should we waste money on this guy or just send his rear end back to Mexico? Huh? To me, it's a no-brainer. I say send his butt back to Mexico. But there are others out there that say, no, he should serve his time. He robbed and assaulted people, used people as human shields, shot at people, you know. What do you think? To me, a no-brainer. Send his rear end back to Mexico. Let somebody else you take care of him, and let's be done with it. Let's hear what you have to say. The phone numbers, I think we've got one line left at 651-3838. All the rest of the lines are full. One line left, 651-3838 if you want to jump on that. All right, let's start things off with Carol. Carol, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Lincoln. Where I'm all right. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. I agree with you. I was just reading about this in the paper this morning, and I agree with you because, you know, why waste all that money?
It's ridiculous.
Yes, he's paralyzed. That's his punishment for what he did.
Right, there you go.
Know, he can't move anymore. You know, I mean, it's sad.
I mean, he can't have sex anymore.
Nothing like that, you know.
Unless it's oral
his
sex or something, but he's done. He's pretty much done.
You
and
know,
who's going to want to spend a lifetime taking care of this guy when he has to go to the bathroom and the whole bit?
Right.
You know, let somebody else, you know, take care of this dude. Not us here in the United States and not here in Hamilton County. We should not have to pay for this guy. Send him back to Mexico where he belongs, and let's be done with it.
That's right, and save that money.
All right, thanks for your call.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, let's go to Nellie. Nellie. Okay, let's go to Eric. Eric.
Yes, Lincoln.
How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I'm doing quite well this morning.
What's going on?
Oh, I wanted to speak on this situation with the gentleman who came over illegally and did this crime. You know, I agree with you. You know, send his butt on back to Mexico, all messed up. He came over here messed up, did the wrong thing, put other people's lives in danger, put the lives of our law enforcement personnel in danger, you know, to do something illegal.
Yeah.
You know, after already illegally entering this part of the country. And then, you know, he wants us to take care of him? I don't think so. Send his butt back to Mexico in a wheelchair.
And the prosecutor wants to, you know, he doesn't want to cut a deal. He wants to try this guy and send him to jail, you know, just to win the case.
And the prosecutor should go to Mexico with him.
And there was even another guy involved in the robbery with him, and he won't even give up the name of the guy who helped him in this robbery.
Well, like I say, put them all together in the same van, ship them back south of the border.
All right, thanks for your call.
All right.
All right, let's go to Dale. Dale, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good.
How much time is he supposed to have?
I don't know how much, with those charges, he could probably get at least, you know, 10 to 20 years maybe.
Oh, send his butt back to Mexico.
This was armed robbery. He assaulted people. He fired shots. He used people as people that were in the store. He grabbed them, used them as a human shield because the owner of the store came out with a gun, and they were shooting all over the place.
Well, I think he should go back to Mexico too.
All right. Hey, thanks for your call.
Bye.
Let's go to Carrie. Carrie, how you doing?
Okay.
What's your question? You have a comment?
Yeah, my comment is, hi, Lincoln. How you doing?
How you doing?
This is Terry from Rose.
Who?
Yeah, Terry. I second that emotion of the guy that said put them all together and ship them there. I second that emotion on that. But yeah, I say send it back to Mexico. I was going to say do like the third world countries do. Cane him and then send him back to Mexico, but he's paralyzed, so that's good enough for him to have to
He's going to suffer the rest of his life. We shouldn't have to pay that bill, you know?
No. We can't even pay the bills of the people living
This
here,
is true.
So I agree.
Thanks for your call.
All right.
And you know, and I can't believe with the county, with the cutbacks, this is just a waste of money. They had to put a deputy sheriff in the nursing home to watch this guy while, okay, he's paralyzed. Where is he going? Why did we need a deputy sheriff in the nursing home? You just handcuff him or something to the bed. Where is he going? He can't walk away. Why would they waste money putting a deputy sheriff there at the cost of $200,000? Unbelievable. Let's go to Coco. Coco, how you doing?
Good morning.
What's on your mind?
I believe all the parties who's involved in that crime and the family themselves, if they want to keep him over here, they pay for him.
Yes. Well, I mean,
now that might be living in la la land.
yeah,
But,
that's not going to happen.
That sounds so right to me, because you and I won't have to pay for him, and we ain't got to worry about shipping him back. They can, if they want him over here to stay to, get his punishment carried out, they can pay for it.
And I think his punishment is being paralyzed from the waist down, from the chest down. That's punishment enough. I mean, if you ask anybody, would you rather be paralyzed from the chest down or would you rather go to jail? They'll take jail any day. So this guy's being punished more than he ever wanted to be punished.
Correct. I agree.
All right, thanks for your call.
You're welcome.
All right, let's go to Reggie. Reggie, good morning. How are you?
All right, I just got a question for you.
Yes.
All right, you keep saying just because he's I mean, what about the other people that's killing people? You know what I'm saying? Does that make it any different?
Well, okay, first, he didn't kill anybody, but what do you mean, what's the difference? I mean, this guy's here illegally. Let's send him back to where he came from. He doesn't belong over here anyway. Why should we spend money to house him in jail when he's not even a citizen in the United States? He doesn't even belong over here.
Okay, but you said he used a baby as a shield or something?
He used a lady that was in the store as a shield, not a baby. There was a baby in the store,
okay.
And the mother of that child just jumped. When the bullets started flying, she just jumped on top of her child, praying that none of the bullets hit her. I mean, and it's amazing that the shield didn't get hit, but this guy got hit and paralyzed. How about that?
I would say if anybody did that, send them too. You know what I'm saying?
All right, thanks for your call. Okay, let's go to Rose. Rose, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Lincoln. How are you?
Pretty good.
Hey, I agree. Send his Beyonce Delafonte on out of here on the first thing going there.
I hear you.
And don't pay nothing for him. Get him on out of town, because they just come over here and do everything.
Yeah.
Get free food stamps and all that stuff. I was dropping somebody off one time down there on Central Parkway, and they come out of there just laughing and stuff. They went in there talking all this Spanish and everything. They come out talking English. Talking about, did you hear what I said? Yeah, we got it now. We going to get some food. And, oh, man, send that duck plucker on back to where he comes from.
Oh, okay. Did we have to dump that? Did she say duck plucker? Or I hope she said duck plucker. Okay, let's go to Jay.
Hi.
Jay.
Good morning, Lincoln. It's Jay again from Westwood.
Okay.
I'm with you 100%. Send him back. Put him in a cargo truck in the wheelchair and take him back, and the other ones with him. And anytime anybody that's illegal that's in the United States does something, why do you waste your time taking them to court? Just send them on back down there.
That's true.
That's all we need to do.
Thanks for your call. Yeah, and why do we even waste, unless they murdered someone or unless, they're not paralyzed. In the case of somebody being paralyzed, and that's going to be extra cost on the system to keep them here and to house them, I say immediately ship them back. Don't waste the court's money and time on a trial. Just ship them back. And then if they return again, if they come back to the United States, then I would say, okay, just keep them in jail. If they came back and you caught them, lock them up forever. But in a case like this, you don't want to spend taxpayers' dollars. I mean, it's just a waste of money. I can't believe the county wasted money on putting a deputy in the nursing home when this guy is paralyzed from the chest down. Justify stationing a deputy sheriff in the nursing home to watch a guy that's paralyzed from the chest down. Please, somebody tell me that. The only thing I could see is maybe some of his friends might come in there and try to take him out of there. But I don't think his friends are even going to come get him because they don't want to take care of him. They don't want to wipe his rear end every day. So nobody's going to come and take this guy out of a nursing home. So why do we have a deputy sheriff stationed there watching this guy? Unbelievable. Rose?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Tell the deputy to turn his head if he sees a
Did you just call?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks for your call. One time, Rose, please. I thought that was the same caller again. So, you only call one time. All right? 651-3838, 381-3838. Let's go to Reese. Reese, good morning. How are you? Reese, turn your TV down. Turn your TV
okay.
down. Yeah, it's a delay and it'll confuse you.
Sorry about that.
Okay, go ahead.
My comment is I do believe that he should be sent back. They wouldn't pay $200,000 for a black man to be sitting in a nursing home. So why should they do it for an illegal alien?
Well, and now, since they looked at the cost, how much it was costing, they put him on home incarceration. They put a bracelet on his ankle, and now they can keep track of him. But my thought is, where is he going? Where is he going? And
He's
who can he
already
hurt now? If you're
disabled.
paralyzed from the chest down, what the heck are you going to do?
Nothing but waste our money.
That's it, in a nutshell.
Yep, so I agree.
Thanks for your call, Reese.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Claudette. Claudette, how are you?
Hey, Lincoln, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lincoln, that they need to send him right on back. Don't even put him on, just put him on a boat and send him back. But you know what angers me more than anything is that we have homeless people down in Washington Park. The money that they're using to guard him, they could take that down there and help some of the homeless that was one time, tax-paying citizens.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And duck plucker, when Rose said duck plucker, that's CB slang, Lincoln.
Yeah. I know. But it's not that. I just didn't understand what she said. I was hoping that's what she said.
She said duck plucker.
But
that's CB
sometimes
slang.
people can slip stuff in and you don't realize it, so it scared me. So I wanted to take precautions just in case. That's why we have a delay out there.
Have a great one, Lincoln.
All right. Thanks for your
Bye-bye.
call. Okay. Gee, I know CB terms, good buddy. Put the pedal to the metal and all that stuff. Larissa.
Hi. I think you should ship his butt back, and also that find out how he came over here in the first place.
Well, I mean,
way he came through.
I mean, it's no secret how they get out. They just cross the border at night.
And
Some of them
also
doing it during the day. I mean, it's no secret. Our borders are open.
And also see if he's really paralyzed. He could be faking.
That's a good point there. Maybe take a doctor to get a sharp needle and sort of ram it up his foot there, ram it in the bottom of his foot, see if he jumps. I got you. You might make a good point there. He could be faking, but I kind of doubt it.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for your call.
Okay, thanks.
All right, let's go to Paul. Paul, good morning. You're on Lincoln Ware Live. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How you doing, Mr. Ware?
Okay.
One of the things that one of your callers said that they would not put a black person in a nursing home and make that much expense for them. I work in nursing homes.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now that they are all over Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Both black and white. They're guarded by Hamilton County deputies.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it as a whole.
Okay, now hold on a second. These people that are in the nursing homes that are being guarded by the deputies, are they able to escape or do anything like that? Or is this just a waste of taxpayers' dollars putting a deputy there in the nursing home?
Well, let me put it like this. They have the hospital wing right down at the Justice Center, and that's where they should be kept. But they've got so many of them that they have to ship them out to nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, when I tell you it's a drain on the taxpayer, you got it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to talk to the commissioners about that, and that should be something that could be looked into because they're calling for cuts all over the place. And if they look real closely, they can see that they're probably wasting a lot more money than they realize.
You got it.
All right. Thanks for your call.
Thank you.
All right. I think I have time for one more call, and let's go to Todd. Todd, good morning.
Yes, I think that y'all should be. I think that sounds kind of racial. I mean, because didn't the white man say the same thing about us years ago?
What do you mean?
So now, they saying ship us back.
Well,
so
we're
now
saying in this
ship them back.
Well, we're saying in this case of a guy that's paralyzed from the chest down who committed a crime, do we try this guy and send him to jail and then pick up the costs for his medical and time in jail, or do we just send him back to where he belongs? He does not belong here in the United States. He is not a citizen. He does not have a green card. He is here illegally. Send his rear end back across the border. Somebody said send him back on a boat. I don't know how you send him back on a boat, but just send him back across the border like he came over here. All right, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this segment. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and tell you what to expect to see right here today on It's 38. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come right back and talk to you right here on Lincoln Ware Live, and we'll come back in a moment. We are back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program, and don't forget, coming up at noon today, one of my favorite shows, Classic Soul Train. Yeah, Don Cornelius and Classic Soul Train. You see some of the old hairstyles and some of the old dances. I just love to watch Classic Soul Train with Don Cornelius. That's at noon today, right here on It's 38, so you don't want to miss it. Classic Soul Train. Have some of the best groups and music that you ever want to hear. So that's at noon today, Classic Soul Train. Don't miss it. If you want to see a rebroadcast of this show, that's coming on tonight at 8 o'clock on Channel 25, WOTH. That's tonight at 8 o'clock on Channel 25. And then following the rebroadcast of this show, Cindy Crawford, William Hurt in the Samayan line. Make sure you check that out at 9 o'clock on Channel 25, WOTH. And, of course, you can watch this show live every Sunday morning if you're somewhere where you can't pick up 38. If you've got a computer, just log on to WBQC.com, or you can call somebody who lives across the country and tell them to watch this show on WBQC.com. You can see it live on the internet right here every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. So just log on to WBQC.com, and you can see the show right there on your computer. And don't forget, if you want to call me, leave me a comment or a message, you can call me at 513-679-6028. That's my direct line. You can check me out Monday through Friday on 1230 The Buzz from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. every day, 1230 The Buzz from 10 to 2. You can check me out right there on my radio show. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for today. We'll see you next Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, right here on Lincoln Ware Live. See you then.